Hello and welcome to Byju's Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with the practice questions for the day, we have a gentle reminder. Byju's Exam Prep IAS has already launched its official Telegram channel. If you have not joined the channel, please do join so that you get all the current affairs related updates. Let's get started and look into the first question. In which of the following cases a person will be disqualified for being chosen as and for being a member of Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council of a state as per Article 191 if he is of unsound mind and stands so declared by a competent court, if he is an undischarged insolvent, if he has voluntarily given up his membership of a political party, if he is convicted for promoting enmity between different groups or for the offense of bribery, if he is found guilty of certain election offences or corrupt practices in the elections. Which of these will fall under disqualification criterion under Article 191 of the Indian Constitution? The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to disqualification after conviction. When we look into Article 191 of the Indian Constitution, it speaks about disqualification for membership, that is to do with MLAs. A person shall be disqualified for being chosen as and for being a person of the Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council of a state if he holds any office of profit under Government of India or Government of any state specified in the first schedule, if he is of unsound mind and stands so declared by the competent court, if he has an undischarged insolvent, if he is not a citizen of India or has voluntarily acquired the citizenship of a foreign state. This is what is mentioned under Article 191. The other statements are also right when it comes to the general disqualification, but it is not mentioned under Article 191 of the Indian Constitution. If he has voluntarily given up the membership of a political party, yes, he can be disqualified, but this falls under the anti-defection law. If he is convicted for promoting enmity between different groups or for the offense of bribery, this falls under the Representations of the People's Act of 1951. And if he is found guilty of certain election offences or corrupt practices, he will once again be disqualified under the Representation of the People's Act. So remember, Article 191 speaks about only 4 criterion for the disqualification, but rest of it falls under anti-defection law as well as the Representation of the People's Act. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, which of the following statements are incorrect? It is an extra constitutional body. A child is defined as any person between the ages of 0 and 18 years. It functions under the Ministry of Women and Child Development of the central government. Which of the statements are incorrect? Since it is asking for the incorrect statement, the answer to this is none. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights. Let us try and understand what are these options. When we look into the first option, yes, National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights happens to be an extra constitutional body. What do we mean by extra constitutional body? Anything which is not mentioned in the Constitution happens to be an extra constitutional body. We have the UPSC, which is mentioned in the Constitution, so it becomes a constitutional body. We also have the Election Commission of India. It is mentioned in the Constitution, so it becomes the constitutional body. But when it comes to National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights, it is not mentioned in the Constitution, so anything which is not mentioned in the Constitution is called as an extra constitutional body. It can be statutory in nature, it can also be executive in nature. So anything which is not mentioned in Constitution, whether it is statutory or it can be executive, becomes part of the extra constitutional in nature. When we look into the second statement, a child is defined as any person between the ages of 0 to 18 years. This statement is right. When we look into the third statement, it functions under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. This statement is also right. If we speak about the constitution of NCPCR, it will have a chairperson. This chairperson will be a person of eminence and who has an exemplary record of work in child welfare. It will also have 6 members. A minimum of 2 women members should have experience in the following fields: education, child health, juvenile justice, elimination of child labor, child psychology, as well as laws relating to children. When we speak about the commission, it upholds the rights of the children. It also gives recommendation to the central government and ensures that all the rights that are accorded to the children are implemented for the safety and security of the children. It is a body that works towards achieving a child right centric approach in all the laws, programs, policies and administrative mechanisms in India. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Global Gender Gap Index. It is released by the World Economic Forum. The GGG index provides scores between 0 and 1, where 1 shows full gender parity and 0 is complete imparity. For the year 2022, India ranks poorly among its neighbors and is behind Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Bhutan. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to Global Gender Gap Report. Remember, we have the World Economic Forum. It is the World Economic Forum which releases this Global Gender Gap Report. As part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section which are the other indices or report which are released by the World Economic Forum. If you look into the statistics, as per the year 2022, India ranked 135 in gender parity out of 146 countries according to the Global Gender Gap Report of 2022. India ranks poorly among its neighbors and is behind Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bhutan. Only Iran, Pakistan and Afghanistan perform worse than India when it comes to South Asia. So if you look into the third statement is right. When we look into the first statement is right, and GGG index is measured on a scale of 0 to 1. If it is 0, it means there is no gender parity, and if it is 1, it is more about inclusive society, and this means there is gender parity in that particular country. So the second statement is also right. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statement. It is an active shield volcano. Its eruptions tend to produce voluminous, fast-moving lava flows that can impact communities on the east and the west sides of island of Hawaii. The above statements describe Babuyan Claro, Mauna Loa, Merapi, Sakurajima. The answer to this is Mauna Loa. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to Mauna Loa. This happens to be the world's largest active volcano. Where is it? It is in the Big Island. Where is it? This Big Island is in Hawaii, and Hawaii happens to be one of the state of United States of America. Experts say it would take just a few hours for lava to reach homes closest to the vents on the volcano, which last erupted in the year 1984. Its eruption is very deadly in nature. Why? That is because the volcano makes up 51% of the Hawaiian island landmass, so a large portion of the island has the potential to be affected by an eruption. Do note, what we have is Mauna Loa volcano in this part of the image, so it can disturb the eastern side as well as the western side as well. Mauna Loa, rising 13,675 feet above sea level, is the much larger neighbor of Kilauea volcano, which erupted in a residential neighborhood and destroyed 700 homes in 2018. In order to monitor it, what they have is the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, which is part of US Geological Survey. So do note, Mauna Loa happens to be one of the largest active volcanoes. It is an active shield volcano. Where is it? It is in Big Island. Where is it? It is in Hawaii, which is one of the state of United States of America. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statement. Tight monetary policy of US Federal Reserve could lead to capital flight. Capital flight may increase the interest cost of firms with existing external commercial borrowings. Devaluation of domestic currency decreases the currency risk associated with ECBs. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2022. So when we speak about the third statement, devaluation of domestic currency decreases the currency risk associated with ECB. This statement happens to be incorrect. That is because the devaluation of the domestic currency does not impact the external commercial borrowings, as this is dominated by the foreign currency and not in the domestic currency. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is blue flag certification. What is the context? Two more beaches, both in Lakshadweep, have been accorded the blue flag tag, putting them in the elite list of world's cleanest and most eco-friendly beaches, marines and sustainable boating tourism operators. India now has 12 blue beaches. Which are these? This includes two new beaches are Minikoi Tandi Beach, Cadment Beach, and 10 other, which include Shivrajpur in Gujarat, Gogla in Diu, Kasargod and Pappubitri in Karnataka, Kappad in Kerala, Eden Beach in Puducherry, Kovalam in Tamil Nadu, Rushikonda in Andhra Pradesh, Golden Beach in Odisha, Radhanagar Swarajdeep in Andaman and Nicobar. This can be important from the preliminary examination point of view. What is this blue flag certification? This happens to be a eco label. This happens to be a certification that is given to all the coastal locations in and around the world, and this happens to be a badge of honor on the environmental front. This blue flag beaches are basically considered as the cleanest of the beaches, and at the same time these beaches also promote tourism sector as well. The blue flag is an exclusive eco label or certification that is given by Copenhagen headquartered Foundation for Environmental Education. It was founded in 1981 as the Foundation for Environmental Education in Europe. Currently it has about 77 member countries. Its other programs include Green Key, Eco Schools, Young Reporters for the Environment, Learning About Forests, Global Forest Fund. What is the mission of this blue flag? Promoting and participating in environmental education program for the users of mariners, beaches and boating operators, implementing efficient safety and environmental management systems, committing to collaborative action and partnerships in order to promote sustainable tourism, monitoring environmental conditions in order to mitigate the impact of human activity at mariners, beaches as well as the boating operators. Basically, this is a certification or a tag which is given to one of the beaches if they are clean in that particular country. So there are some strict rules that are provided. If these coastal beaches are able to maintain and sustain this on a larger level, also promote tourism to a larger extent, keep the beaches clean as well in such a state that it is sustainable in nature, and also provide all basic amenities to the tourists along that beach area, such a beach will be given what is called as the blue flag certification. When we speak about blue flag certification, to qualify it, it has to pass through a series of stringent requirements or criteria where it has to satisfy them. The criteria are environmental in nature, educational in nature, access and safety related. The certification is awarded to beaches, marinas and sustainable boat tourism operators in the FE member countries. The blue flag is an eco label, and blue flag beaches should provide clean and hygienic bathing water along with basic infrastructure for the tourists and operators of beaches or boating tourism that have been awarded the blue flag are allowed to display blue flag logo, and this is awarded to local authorities or private operators only of the member countries. Blue flag also advocates against inequality, disparity, unemployment, depletion of natural resources, health and environmental threats, pollution, as well as the general environmental degradation. It is this that we have to understand with respect to the blue flag certification. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.